Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is a healing and letting go ceremony for any triggers that we've had or where we've, let's say, witnessed something where someone got really triggered and maybe we empathized with them or somehow let it emotionally affect us so that we also carry those energies with us. And this is basically something based on what happened earlier today. I was at a group gathering where a young transgendered woman felt so offended by a young guy whose English level is basically zero. He's new in the country and doesn't seem socially very adept either to really read the clues and all that. And when he tried saying her name, he kept saying a male version of her female name. And she got really offended and then left. And he didn't really seem to clue into a lot of how much he offended her and the indications and everything. I wasn't actually standing with them when it happened. I was a little further over talking to other people. And then one of her friends told me. And I was like, oh no, that's, like I empathized with her and felt badly for her because this is a community that's still very much discriminated against or is still dealing with a lot of ignorance and other inappropriate comments directed at them and so on, right? So when the rest of her friends left, I tried to tell him with the help of his dictionary, which was actually speaking into Google Translate, that he had offended her, and his response, like through the dictionary, was that he could see that and he didn't mean to offend her. And right after that, he said, no problem. And I was thinking like, what? Right? Like I was kind of almost getting offended, or I was actually getting offended by his ignorant reaction, or so I felt, right? So I, again, through the dictionary, explained that she's transgendered and it is a problem. And he said, boy or girl, no problem. And I didn't fully clue in because I was already sort of on the track of like, what do you mean no problem? You just offended her, right? And I said, well, say sorry and then it's okay, no problem, right? But what I only realized later, what he was trying to say was that it doesn't really matter to him if that person was male or female. Like it's no problem. Like for him, it's not an issue what someone's gender orientation is. However, his communication skills were not very good, not very adept. And with the use of the dictionary, some of it may have gotten a little jumbled up, right? Like it's sometimes hard to express yourself perfectly when your level of the other language is very low and the dictionary doesn't always perfectly translate. Like Google Translate, even let's say if I put something German in and I look at the English, I'm like, that sounds weird. That doesn't sound right, right? So that's part of it. But he also comes from, and please forgive me, but he comes from a culture similar to my own German background that is much less sensitive than Canadian culture. And I have to admit, I've lived in Canada for way over 20 years now, so I'm not completely up to date on everything in Germany now, but I know they're usually like pretty up to date. But for example, at least 20 years ago, let's say, the humor was more abusive than Canadian humor, right? So let's say men and women would tell each other jokes about the opposite gender to kind of poke fun at them, but nobody got offended because everyone understood that it was a joke and not to take oneself so seriously. That would not fly in Canada. And coming and the culture of that person who offended her was quite similar in sort of the mannerism, but I also got the impression that he was the sort of person who just doesn't easily apologize. And again, that's me sort of tuning in with my Claire senses more. And he may surprise me and apologize to her next time. I don't know. Like, I hope that what I said has reached him. But it also left me really kind of pondering the whole situation. And I also felt affected by it because I also felt that there are so many situations where we can get triggered and like something else might trigger me that maybe a different person wouldn't get triggered by, and so on, right? So we all carry certain pains around with us and we get triggered. But what I did understand at the end of the night is that this guy really had no intention of offending her, and he just really wasn't overly sensitive and socially adept to immediately repair the damage that he inadvertently had done, right? So that brings me back to Wayne Dyer, who I've been listening to a lot in the last little while, and how we really need to learn to not take everything personally, because whatever the other person says or does that may offend us or may not be in line with what we feel comfortable with, that's either their damage or they were raised in such a different way and in such a different culture that to them that's normal and harmless and whatever, but in our context it's not okay. So taking offense to something that was not meant as offense is really our own damage, right? When we get offended. So anyhow, to make a long story short, just letting go of, yeah, I guess the topic is more about letting go of taking things personally, because we're projecting our worldview onto the other person who may have a completely different worldview and may mean absolutely no harm, but we interpret harm into it, right? So, yeah. Thank you for bearing with me here. Sometimes when those kind of things happen, I still kind of process them emotionally myself. And I just know that I need to do a little healing on it and not just let those energies kind of stay and simmer some more, right? Okay, so let's smudge and get this show going. Please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and reconnect us to our own divinity, and to that pure divine love light energy, to that healing energy and light. And transmute anything that is dark, low vibrational, and unhealed. And so it is. Whoops. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. 1 sec. Let me fix the camera. I just kind of hit the tripod. Here we go. Okay. Dear Creator, higher power, source, and soul energy, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all four directions, powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all four elements, air, earth, fire, water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe, multiverse, and that are of the light. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. Okay. What just came through that I actually forgot to explain earlier that is important is why I felt guided to put the seashell on there. And that's because water is a very cleansing element that helps us release a lot of unhealed emotions through crying, right? Like if you can. If you can't, that's okay, but maybe you can, ask the spirit of the water to help you just release it and wash it away. You can even do that in the shower, right? But thank you, Great Spirit of the Water, for coming through for this one and to help wash all of our pain away, all of our unhealed emotional wounds that still get triggered, that still get offended. Help us fully and completely let go and wash away all this stuff that we're still holding on to. And with the power of the crystal, let the pure divine light energy become strongly activated and flow into us, through us, and around us from the whole universe and multiverse. Let it cleanse out every aspect of us. Body, mind, spirit, soul, energy field, emotional body. And let all of that be cleared out and washed away throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Okay, this was a very quick one. Thank you so much. Let the ceremony now be finished and accept our love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly safe, shielded, and protected. And, sorry, one little thing added. And let us be immune to any of the triggers that we've been reacting to because of our wounds. Let those wounds be healed and the triggers be eliminated. And let us now be immune to it and no longer take things personal. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Okay, now let the ceremony be fully finished. And accept our love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings. All my relations, all our relations. And so it is. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of this ceremony, and for being on your own healing and ascension journey. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'm also sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. Bye.